Hey, beautiful souls, welcome to another soul chat. So back in the car, recording this soul chat. I actually really enjoy doing them here. Side note, I feel like it gives me the focus that I need to actually look into the camera and like talk to you, but like also like really take the downloads that are coming through and like digest them and then like give them to you in a way that makes sense. So today I actually want to talk about spiritual awakenings. So in terms of spiritual awakenings, like I've just noticed this trend of so many more people talking about spiritual awakenings, so many people more wanting to learn about spiritual awakenings, wanting to learn more about their soul, wanting to learn about what happens in the process. And so I'm actually releasing 3 podcasts about my journey. And so it goes from like being in the 3D, part 1, and like what it means to like step out of the 3D, the in-between space, and then being in the 5D, 3 separate episodes. And in today's video, I want to talk about really like fast track those 3 episodes, but like really talked about the spiritual awakening in itself. Like, what is it? What does it mean? What are the things that you need to look out for? And then a little bit more about some guidance that you may need. So here's the thing with spiritual awakenings, right? Like, we don't chase experiences. If you are in the real spiritual realm, right? Like if you're in the realm of like, I just want to know what it feels like, I just want to have this experience, and you're chasing the experiences, you're not really going through the awakening, you're really just chasing the experiences. And the reason why I say this, and it's really important, is because when you go through a spiritual awakening, you'll go through the spiritual awakening, right? Like you don't need to chase it. We don't need to chase anything. This is the law of the universe. Like if you are in a certain energy and in a certain vibration, the thing will come directly to you, and you will be placed into a moment where you awaken, right? What does spiritual awakening mean? So in order for you to understand spiritual awakening, you need to understand that we're all born into a programming and into a realm, into a world where we are taught to not really think, not really question, be in this sort of like very robotic way, right? Like we wake up, do our morning routine, go to work, come back, make dinner, work out, maybe whatever it is your daily routine is, right? Like take care of our kids, go to sleep, wake up, and we just keep doing it. We save money for experiences like trips or like maybe gifts for other people or for ourselves, and we're just going about life in this very like robotic, mundane way. We don't ask the questions of like, why do I exist? Why am I here? Do I have a bigger purpose? Like when you start to really question those things, that's when your awakening starts. That's when you start to awaken a part of you that is already aware of it. So this is the second part of spiritual awakening, right? You are not chasing knowledge either. Like the knowledge and wisdom that you already need for your spiritual awakening, for those questions, the questions that you have about life, about like, why are we here? What is the purpose of life? What is my purpose in this lifetime? What is the soul? All of these answers are actually within you. It's a remembrance, right? And so when you go through the awakening, the very first step is you start to have these questions, and then you probably will be introduced to tools that can help you to bring this awareness of tapping into this space of getting the answers to those questions. When you start to chase the answers externally, you actually start to create confusion within yourself. So, and take this from somebody that did it. We as human are so, especially in today's age, we are so like focused on getting everything now. We want the answer now. We want to go through the awakening and get to the other side now. Like everything has to happen now, right? Like in this moment. And we aren't really concerned or even excited to do the work to get there and go through the experience of actually going within and understanding that it's a remembrance. And so what happens in the midst of that is that we go outside and we find all of this knowledge and we follow people and we start to learn things, and maybe things resonate, but maybe they don't. And like we go through this whole journey and this whole spiral of being stuck in like the stuff and confused, and we just go into spirals. And like even though we are within our awakening, because we have the questions of like, why is my soul here, what is my soul purpose, we're just going outside. So like maybe you're getting all of the readings from everyone, maybe you are going out and seeking answers from like 100 different people on TikTok and like all of these videos that you keep watching, and maybe you are reading books and you're doing all of these things. And then you confuse yourself about like what your soul purpose really is. So the way to go about it is actually to go within first and really tap into the space within you to understand that that wisdom already exists. And then if you want to go outside, like if that wisdom, if that voice from within, which is your intuition, is leading you to a reading, to a book, to a place, to a maybe even guiding you to get a teacher, a guide, a guru, whatever it is, right? Then you go about it, because now your intuition is telling you like, hey, like for your human self to understand this, you're going to need some external help. But the external help comes from your internal compass, if that makes sense. And I really wanted to put that part out there because I'm noticing with a lot of these videos that people are just like going about and following all of these things, and there's like this obsession of like, well, I'm spiritual and I need to know all of these things and I need to do all of these things. I need to experience all of these things. But like, you might not be ready for it, and you might not even want to experience it. Like your soul might not even need to experience that, right? And it's like you're just doing it because you're chasing the experience, or you're chasing the thrill of it, which is just an addiction. It's just an addiction, and that is not going to lead you to ascension, right? Ascension comes when we do the healing work, when we do the inner work, and like when you really dive within yourself and you start to understand what your wounds are, what your shadows are, why your soul is here. But like your soul went through so many different lifetimes maybe, and through the lifetimes it went through different things which now you brought with you, maybe even through your lineage and through your ancestors. You're carrying wounds that you are mirroring out into the world. Like this is like inner work. Like all of that wisdom is already within you. You do not, I'm going to say it again, you do not need anyone to tell you that. You already know. It's a remembrance. Your soul remembers everything. Everything. Like everything. And it will come out. Like it can come out through a breathwork experience. It can come out through a meditation. It can just come out while you're walking somewhere and you notice something. And all of a sudden you feel like this deep like sense of knowing that like, oh, like this is something familiar to me, right? And in order for you to know, like get those feelings, get those senses, you need to build a relationship with your intuition. And so from the point of spiritual awakening, the next step is to do the inner work, and really doing the inner work, minus the shadow work, minus like the healing and all of that, is getting in tune with your intuition. So understanding, where is my intuition within my body? Like where do I feel my intuition within my body? Where is it that I feel a sensation within my body when I'm tapping into my intuition? Are there any like vibrations or tingling? Is there anything happening in my body when I'm connecting to my intuition? Like becoming very aware of it, because that will give you your compass. Like that's your compass in knowing that whatever you're doing is right for you or not, right? When we say like gut feeling, right? Like I had a gut feeling, that's your intuition. But intuition doesn't have to be in your gut. Like it can be in many different places within your body. People can sense it within their heart space, within their chest. You can sense it within your womb. Like for me, My intuition lives within my womb space. And it's something that I recently found out. I always thought it was my gut because I always get a gut feeling. But before I even get the gut feeling, it starts from my womb space. Like I can feel her in my womb space, my intuition. Some people feel it within their third eye. Some people feel it within their throat. Like everybody feels their intuition in a different place. There's no right or wrong. Like that's your first job. Your first job from your awakening is to tap within your body and understand where your intuition is so that it can be your compass in leading you to things, right? The reason why I am so like averse for people to like dive into like getting readings and getting all of these things and like is because there starts to become a codependency, right? And I always tell people this when I do a reading. I always say like, hey, I'm going to do a reading for you, blah, blah, blah. Here's a reading. But like, I really want you to tap into it and see what you feel from your own intuition. Like take what resonates, right? And yes, like I get paid from this and this is great, but I'm not doing it to make money. Like I'm not doing the readings or the spiritual guidance or any of the things that I do. I don't do it because I'm like greedy and I want the money from you guys, right? I'm doing it because I want to lead you on your path because you may be confused, but I don't want there to be a codependency between me and you. Like I want you to be independent and know that you are a sovereign being and everything I'm telling you is already within you. Maybe it just ignites a remembrance within you so that you can go onto your path. And the reason why the codependency is problematic is something that I mentioned last week about attachments, right? Like you tend to then build this like attachment or toxic attachment. And when something doesn't go right or something goes wrong, you tend to blame that person instead of taking ownership for it, taking accountability for it, right? You go to that person like, why did this happen? Blah, 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 blah. Like, can you do another reading? And it's like that part of our mind that always wants to know what's going to happen so we can control, is relentless. And in spirituality, we are actually trying to create space between us and that relentless mind, that part of us that just always wants to know what's going to happen so it can control. One of the main principles of spirituality is surrendering, because we trust the universe, because we have certainty that the universe will always provide for us exactly what we need in the exact moment that it needs to come. So in order for us to be in that place, we need to like detach from our mind and that part of us that always wants to control everything. And the other aspect to that is that we tend to then hold so much energy in the reading that we have, right? Like, oh, I had this reading and so happened in this reading, and like we like create a story with it, which is going to play out in a reality because you are the creator. So if your mind can conjure something and can believe in something, you've manifested it. Like that is what manifestation is. And so when you get a reading and you believe in the reading and then it happens, that is just your manifestation coming about, right? And this is like not a jab at readers. I'm a reader myself, so it's not to say that they don't have skills and they're not like they're fake or anything like that. Like no, like they do have a skill. They do have a skill of reading your energy and reading out like what is the best for you, but at the same time, so do you, right? And my whole thing, my whole platform here, if you will, like what I really love to teach people is how they can be sovereign. Yes, go and get the readings, go and get the guidance, but once you feel comfortable, go and do it on your own. Trust your intuition and build on your own intuition of what is best for you. Like, you don't have to be codependent on anybody. But anyways, I went on a tangent, so I'm going to come back to the spiritual awakening part of it. So very first step is asking, when you start to ask yourself questions of like, what is life? What is my soul purpose? From that point, drawing the awareness, going within you, using mindfulness tools to go within you to do the work and connect to your intuition. Step 3 is connect to your intuition. and grow a relationship with your intuition. So do things where you're asking your intuition, like, what do you think about this? What do you feel about this? So you can actually understand more and more about that intuitive feeling that you get within you of what's right and wrong for you, what is aligned to you and what is not aligned to you, right? And once you go about those 3 steps, it's really rinse and repeat. And so as you're bringing awareness and as you're connecting to your intuition, as you're going inwards and you're doing the work, the more and more you're able to release, the more and more you are calling in and you're focused on your energy, your being, you're ascending. So ascension is nothing but becoming aligned to a consciousness, right? So right now, if you're in the consciousness of 3D, which is very much your ego consciousness, when you start to ask questions like that, you immediately will become heart-centered. You immediately will become focused on love, and your consciousness will start to move away from fear and move towards love. And like, your entire reality will shift because your internal world is shifting. You're moving away from operating from fear-based, and operating more towards love-based, soul-based consciousness. And that means that you ascend, and essentially you're moving from one reality, one timeline, to another reality, to another timeline, because your consciousness has shifted. And there's multiple consciousness, right? Like, just because you move from 3D to 5D, it doesn't mean it's the end. Like, there's so many more consciousness that are above 5D, and many of them we might not even know about because maybe some people haven't even experienced them yet. So it's not to say that, like, oh, I've reached 5D and that's the end. That may be the end for you in this lifetime, but like, your soul can still ascend further and further from that, right? And there is the only goals, I'm going to say it this way, the only goals in spirituality are the ones that you place on yourself. So like, if your goal is to be more at peace, more loving, more calm, less anxious, whatever it is, right? You're going to reach those goals through the tools that you use. And just because you've reached those goals doesn't mean that there isn't like another goal to reach. Like, there's infinite amounts of levels here, right? And like, our mind can't even really grasp that because it's beyond our mind's our mind can't even like conceptualize that because it's beyond our mind's understanding, right? And that's because the universe is limitless, and so are we. So are we if we actually put ourselves into that consciousness. There's so much to say in this space, and I keep going on these tangents, but I'm going to bring it all back to for you, right? So it's rinse and repeat. So really, the more you bring awareness to your energy, to your being, to how you are, to what you are embodying, right? And the more that is in alignment with your soul, because now you understand what your soul is, what your soul purpose is, and like what essentially your essence is. And then along with that, you are able to really like do the inner work and connect with your intuition. You eventually start to shift, right? You start to shift into your consciousness, which is what I was trying to say before I went on the whole tangent. And as you do this, you go through different levels of ascension. And like, the more and more you do, the more and more you go through many awakenings, like many. And you could be going through awakenings like this, like you went through an awakening and then all of a sudden, like, I feel like I'm going through an awakening every like 6 months or every like 3 months, because something else is like releasing from me, or I'm like guided to like release another part or heal another part, or like let go of something for that like my soul has been holding on to. And when I do that, I then am opening up and expanding to a new consciousness, to something that I wasn't aware of before, and I am then growing and expanding. And so this is just like, it's a cycle, right? And the one thing that you have to understand is it's not like a linear thing, right? So it's like a spiral. So like there's many layers to all of this stuff that we're going through, many layers, and it can take lifetimes sometimes to even release deep wounds. And it's, the work itself is very rewarding. I'll say it this way. The work itself is very rewarding, very, very satisfying, but it's like, it's hard work, and it's not like love and light all the time. There's dark moments, like a lot of dark moments, especially when you're going through the awakenings and you're shedding aspects of you that are so ingrained in this system that has you thinking that like there's all of this security, there's all of this like sense of like sense of security, or sense of like control, and like when you start to go through your awakening, you start to understand that everything was actually an illusion, and you start to believe in something else, which can be scary, because for such a long time, and it could have been lifetimes, that you were in this cycle of like this human experience where you were just grounded in this programming that was very ego based, and now you're awakening from it. So in that case, you can't rush this process. You have to have patience, you have to have grace, and you have to have compassion. And along with it, you need to have the proper guidance as well, right? And this is where I started off with, like, I feel like in today's world, like there's like so many things that are happening in the spiritual community, and I've mentioned this before. You need to use your discernment. Not everything that's out there is the truth, and not everything out there is for your own good. Like, I feel like a lot of people in the spiritual community have been playing, I'm just going to call it for what it is. Like, I feel like a lot of people in the spiritual community are fake, and they're just playing off of your emotions and like manipulating you, when in fact that is like not the truth at all. Like, the things that they're sharing with you, the things that they say to you, even maybe a reader, like somebody that you may be going to, like maybe they're telling you things to manipulate you and control you. And you can feel this in your energetic body. Like, you can feel when somebody's in your energetic field is not there and their intentions are not pure. You can feel that. And so that's where your discernment comes in. And that's why I say to connect with your intuition, because your intuition will tell you right away that this person is not the right person for you to follow. And that could be me too. Like, that could be me too. I'm not saying that I'm perfect as well, right? I may not resonate with your energy, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm just putting it out there because I've been through my fair share of people that I've just spiraled and been confused about and things like that. And I've realized like a lot of the things that they say, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And they're actually not spiritual at all. They're just still living in the 3D and feeding off of other people for their own greed, for their own wealth, if you will, right? And so those people are not going to have your best interest. And why would they need to have your best interest? You may be asking. It's because your best interest is God's best interest, right? Like, when you do something from a place of service, you're doing it as being a vessel for God. And so God doesn't care about the money that he's making. He already owns all of it, guys. He, she, whatever you resonate with. Like, God already owns everything. There's nothing that God needs. And that same being, that same energy, that same power is connected to you. And that is the illusion. The video that I posted a few weeks ago about money being an illusion, that is the illusion that a spiritual awakening starts to break. The illusion that we are so captured by money and by greed and by like having all of these things in materialistic world and like attachments and all of these things. I'm going on another tangent, guys. But all of these things are not real. They're an illusion. And so anything that is then attached to those things is also an illusion. So be careful is all I'm trying to say. Don't be don't be scammed. I mean, like, there's scammers that are playing to be like these readers, but then there's also readers that are actually scammers or spiritual people, spiritual guides. And a lot of them, some of them are very famous, might I add. I'm not gonna like name drop anybody, but like there's a lot of people out there that are super, super famous, but like they don't have anything in their spiritual like anything that's attaching them to their spiritual being that is of the highest good for you. They're really just looking out for themselves. And like, I have a very big issue with that in the spiritual community myself, because I kind of feel like in the spiritual world, we all know that we are here because we are connected to God, and like it's more about the unity and the connectedness and the interconnectedness that we play in. And the more of us that are leaders, that are guiding people in the way of like just kind of feeding off of you, like being parasites, the more those people are going to not believe in these things. And yes, I also feel like that's playing the duality of everything, but I also feel like there needs to be a warning out there. I've been saying I am launching two things. I'm launching one. The first thing I'm launching is a 3-pack spiritual guidance coaching program offering. So it's going to be 3 sessions. Each session is going to be an hour long, and it's open-ended. So whatever questions you have, we will go through each one. The very first one, it'll probably be an hour and a half, because I want to learn more about you, more about your journey, and how I can kind of help you and guide you, like what questions you actually have. But let's say the next week you come in and you're like, hey, I know we talked about all that stuff, but I actually have another question, and you want to use that hour for something else. That's your time. So it's 3 sessions, each one hour long. First one's probably 90 minutes, and this is $333. I'm gonna put everything in the details so you have the pricing, and I'm gonna launch it this week, and so I'll place a link as well for you to purchase that package. And the second thing that I'm launching is the spiritual community. And so within this spiritual community, I will start to do a group coaching program, which will launch next year in 2026. And this group coaching program will be it'll be 8 weeks, and within the 8 weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into topics within spirituality. So we'll talk about the ego, we'll talk about the soul, we'll talk about manifestation, we'll talk about with manifestation, law of attraction. We'll talk about like more things like soul contracts, what that all means, Akashic records, like a whole bunch of different things that we'll dive into each week of the 8 weeks, so that you can learn more about like what it means to be like spiritual. And in each week, more and more, I will help you to connect to your intuition and regulate your nervous system. So we'll work on nervous system regulation, and through that, we'll work on like connecting deeper to your intuition. And so if you guys are interested in that, I'm going to be launching that, like I said, probably in February. I'll have the pre-launch link for that in December. But you can definitely just put a comment here like, hey, I want to be part of the spiritual community. When everything goes up, I'll email you all of the details, and then you can join in that. I'm really excited about these 2 programs. So if you know, I primarily work on nervous system regulation and spiritual healing for women that are going through their journey to motherhood. Specifically, lately, I've been working more on the postpartum, the postpartum area. And so like, for me, like that's my bread and butter. Like my bread and butter is to help moms and support them and like really help them with like regulating their nervous system and becoming conscious moms and conscious parents. But I feel a deep calling, given everything that I've been hearing and following, and like in my meditations, it keeps coming up from spirit that I need to be a leader in this space, because so many people are going through an awakening and they feel lost and they feel confused. And so if you feel lost and you feel confused and you're like, I just need somebody to talk to, I just need some guidance, sign up for the one-on-ones, sign up for the group coaching. I don't have the pricing yet for the group coaching, by the way. I know I gave you the pricing for the one-on-one. I'm still in the works of putting it together, but like when I get the pricing for it, I will let you know. And it's probably going to be more of like a pay per pay per what you want type of structure for the group coaching, because it's going to be a community. So there'll probably be like a membership fee, and then like if you want to be part of the live calls, there'll be like an extra like up cost to that. And then if you like, there's going to be tools, and like if you just want the tools like the meditations and stuff, you'll just pay a little bit. Like, so I'm gonna like break it all down for you of like what the costs of all of that will be once I get there. But like, I want it to be affordable where you can actually be able to get the information that you need at an affordable cost, and it's not going to be something that is like super expensive and like you're going to be like, oh, I can't do it. But I also want it to be a energy exchange that feels aligned to me, and so I need to feel into that space. And so once I have more information on the pricing and all of the stuff for the group coaching program and the spiritual community, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, if you're interested in the one-on-one, that I'm launching this week. And so for that, I still have space within my November calendar and a little bit of space in my December calendar. And so if you want to get onto my calendar like ASAP because you have questions right now and you're just like, Urvi, I need your guidance, I would suggest that you go ahead and either put a comment here or go ahead and just purchase the package. All right, so we're going to end it there. I love you all so very much. Peace, love, and light. Namaste. If you have any questions about this, like I said, just put it in the comments. Even if you're like confused about something or there's something that's coming up for you where you need help, just put it in the comments. If there's something that I can put you in touch with or a resource I can put you in touch with, I will absolutely do that. My main concern is that you bridge the gap between you and the creator to learn your own divinity and your own sovereignty, like I mentioned earlier. And like my purpose is that you learn that and you go about your way. Like, I'm just there to be the conduit between you and that relationship, right? Like, I'm just the bridge. And so I really am excited to meet you. I'm really excited to work with you. If you have any questions, like I mentioned, just put in the comments and we'll talk soon. Peace, love, and light. Namaste.